Welcome to Bamfordrose, and it's forum chat time. This week's forum chat is breaking down in your ASM car. Don't know what it is at the moment. It seems to be forums plagued with people breaking down in their ASM cars and customers phoning me up asking about the twin plate clutch upgrade to avoid the clutch wear issue stopping drive and inevitably breaking down in your Sport Shift V8 Vantage. I'll go through some of the breakdown reasons that could possibly affect the system, but most of them for me represent a failure of service if you break down in your ASM car. Prime suspect number one is going to be the low pressure pipe kit. This is the rubber pipes that are famed for degrading, and they take fluid from the reservoir to the ASM pump pack assembly and the feed back to the reservoir. They crack, perish, degrade, all your fluid leaks out, and obviously the system won't work. I think from initial surface cracking of those pipes to complete failure, there's got to be about 3 years. That's 3 consecutive service failures if you weren't told that your pipe work was cracking, and then one day you end up with a puddle of ASM fluid underneath the car and a broken down car. The pump could fail at any time, and that wouldn't be a failure of service, that's just bad luck. If ever you open the door handle and you don't hear your ASM pump prime, then it's worth checking that 30 amp fuse in the boot fuse box for the pump hasn't blown, and it's worth always carrying a spare and knowing exactly where it is, so if you don't hear your pump running, you can just for yourself at the roadside quickly check the fuse, and if it was the fuse, then you've solved your own breakdown and you're on your way without needing a tow truck. Next reason for failure could be the transmission control unit itself. Again, this would be a failure of service if your car was to break down and it was the transmission control module. Before failing, the transmission control unit will probably not do clutch learns properly, and it will probably have internal fault codes registered reporting the telltale signs that the transmission control unit is on its way out. Your transmission control unit had those fault codes and you're in a garage for service, then it's an ideal opportunity to renew the transmission control module, do some preventative maintenance and avoid that breakdown. And the last cause of breakdown would be the clutch, and when it's reached a wear limit, it stops the system from selecting gear, so you can start the engine but you can't actually engage gear and drive. Again, at service, if you weren't told that your clutch wear value was approaching a critical limit, then that's a failure of service. If then you go off and drive the car very soon after service, you have a breakdown because your clutch is worn out. Across the last 10 years, I can count on one hand, I think, the amount of our own customers' cars that have broken down that have ended up having to be delivered here on a transporter. It's a weekly occurrence, transporters delivering broken down cars here, but they're seldom our own customers. So you can be unlucky and suffer a breakdown, and that catch you unawares in your Sport Shift car. But by and largely, in my opinion, if you end up breaking down in a Sport Shift, it's failure of service. As always, really helps us if you can subscribe to our channel, click us a like, and in the comments section let us know what your stories of ASM behaviour have been. Hope you like that forum chat, and we'll see you on the next one.